Hey, sometimes being a human is overrated.
Can a robot turn a canvas into a beautiful masterpiece?
Can you?
Am I right? So today we're keeping it simple. We're gonna talk about 20 games where you get to play as a robot. That's it, there's no catch, there's no hook. We just wanna talk about cool robots. So let's get started off. We got 20 games and we're starting with number 20. Portal 2 Co-op is absolutely underrated. I think it's one of the best Portal experiences you could get other than the original game and of course the incredible mods that the community has made. But Portal 2 Co-op is just a good handful of hours to play through with a buddy. But you're both playing as robots. Atlas and Peabody are iconic in my mind. They don't have a lot to say, but they are incredibly animated and expressive. One being tall and skinny, Atlas being short and stout, and they have their specialized portal guns, and it really just works. This, I think, Atlas and Peabody specifically, are a perfect example of beauty and simplicity. They're not overly complex characters. It's all about visual design, visual comedy, all that. There's a reason why Portal 2's marketing and a lot of Steam stuff since have really led with these guys because they're just really cool, creative, sleek robot designs that still manage to be modern and futuristic looking, but also cartoonishly expressive. It's just cool as hell to play as them. This was an easy one because it's just an excuse to talk about a really, really good co-op mode. Next at number 19, a newer game, RoboQuest. This is a first-person shooter roguelite. You're this robot that gets rebooted and set up to kick some ass. You can play this co-op and it's got a lot of really good environmental interaction and a ton of weapons. It can be pretty fast-paced and pretty sweaty, and it's a blast. It's a really cool indie experience with a simple, bright, expressive art style. And not only are you a cool robot, but you're shooting a bunch of cool robots as well. Also, it was just a good reason to talk about this one because I don't think we've mentioned it in any other videos before, until now. Next at number 18 is Signalis. Signalis from a few years back is absolutely criminally underrated. For those of you that like old school survival horror, almost like Resident Evil 1 style, Signalis is definitely your thing. It's set in a dystopian future and you play as this character that's like a replicant, kind of like think Blade Runner. And you're in this futuristic government facility hunting for resources, desperately trying to survive against all kinds of creepy, freaky monsters. Elster, the replica robot that I mentioned that you play as, is essentially looking for someone and her memories. Not only is she a cool robot, but the game is just good as hell. It's very tense. It's got good sci-fi space horror aspects to it, but it's also just a good old psychological controller gripping horror experience. Next at number 17, we have the Talos Principle series. We've talked about these games quite a bit. They are absolutely great first-person puzzle experiences. They're challenging, they can be pretty gorgeous, and people don't realize sometimes you play as an unnamed android robot. There is a story to it here. There's some interesting world building going on in the background, but really the vibes is the exploration and the puzzle solving. This is from Crow Team, the developers behind Serious Sam, so they understand cool character designs and like a cool robot, sure, but it's nice to see them doing something completely different here. Serious Sam is known for bombastic shooting and chaos, where the Talos Principle slows things down and gets a little smarter. And honestly, I'm just hoping this franchise sticks around because they could do a lot more with it. Next at number 16, we're throwing it back to the PS2, GameCube, Xbox era with Metal Arms glitching the system. This is just an awesome, very 2000s, straight-up third-person shooter action-adventure game where you play as this cool, quirky robot named Glitch. You're on a junk planet, literally made out of space junk and stuff, and you shoot your way through a great adventure, being a cool robot, but also engaging and facing off against some other really creative robot designs. This game was pretty big back in the day. I don't know why, I just felt like everyone I knew played it, but the game apparently didn't do well enough, and there was never anything else of it. It had the campaign, of course, but it also had a pretty cool multiplayer mode, and it was just a charming, really good adventure. I'm betting you, if you know someone that played games from this era, ask them about this game. They've either played it or they know someone who played it. Next at number 15, keeping it even more lighthearted, Astrobot. Astrobot is easy to recommend because you're a cute little delightful happy robot guy. It's a no-brainer, but along with that, it's also one of the best platformers we've seen in a long time. I mean, sure, that's partially because we just don't get a lot of classic old school platformer games like this anymore, but still, the quality on its own, I think will stand the test of time. Astrobot is a really good adventure. It's good for casual players. There's some challenging, sweaty levels if you want to get a little more hardcore with it, and going through and collecting all these PlayStation memories just makes it a ton of fun. But really, it's that like robotic, quirky charm that the whole game is dripping with, from the robotic voice tinged music to the look of all the little astrobots you collect, to the enemies, the look of the levels, all the PlayStation stuff. It's just so great. Honestly, you've probably heard it enough at this point. This game has been praised to high hell, but if you like this, I definitely recommend going back and playing the other ones. Astro's Playroom and Astro VR are also really good little robotic fun experiences. Next at number 14, Observation. This is a really clever one because like you're not really a robot, you're actually an artificial intelligence. You're essentially HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey, but you are controlling this space station, and it's up to you to use your surveillance and use your, AI computer powers to figure out what went wrong with this crew and this space station. Your name is Sam, which stands for Systems Administration and Maintenance. And because of how technologically advanced the space station is and how advanced Sam is, it's not just a game where it feels like you're just viewing from one security camera or anything like that. Sam has the ability to jump around between all different types of nodes and manipulate cameras and all different types of equipment that make it a really fun, kind of thrilling mystery to figure out and piece together. From a gameplay concept alone, it's probably one of the most unique games on our list because, again, you're an onboard like spaceship's AI. I just think that at its core is a cool idea for a game. Now at number 13, look, we've talked about cute, quirky robots here, clever, intelligent robots, but we haven't talked about a lot of robots that are just badass, awesome destroyers. And that's Ultra Kill. In Ultra Kill, you play as V1 and you're a robot kind of going through Dante's layers of hell just by shooting shit. This is a chaotic first-person shooter that feels like a good throwback, a really good mix of inspirations. Quake, Doom, a points and style grading system, kind of like Devil May Cry, so you're running for those S rankings, gliding through levels with buttery smooth gameplay, and like an insane amount of gore. It is totally a throwback for old school fans, yes, but it has the modern gameplay chops and smoothness, I think, to hook anyone. From the presentation to the music, this is just sci-fi murder chaos overload, and it is so good. Honestly, I'm sorry we have not talked about Ultra Kill enough on this channel, but maybe we'll change that. Next at number 12, we have Cave Story. This is from 2004. This is like one of the early big indie games that made a huge splash. This was a Metroidvania game with a really cool retro spin to it. It had action, exploration, 2D platform mechanics in a cool world. And in it, you just so happen to play as, quote, a robot soldier from the surface world who awakes in this cave with little to no memories. So it's kind of a spoiler for an old game that it's revealed that you're a robot, I guess. But either way, this game is just good as hell. Being a little robot aside, just a high quality single player Metroidvania experience that's available on most platforms now. You can play it on Switch, and we still recommend it to this day. Even if it's 2004, it's really held up. Next at number 11, Steel Rising. This is a Souls-like style game from 2022 that quickly came and went, but it had a really cool, unique art style. It's French Revolution, and you're kind of like a steampunk automaton robot. You play as Aegis, and you were created by this master engineer. Apparently, you're like the magnum opus, and you go out and you kick ass. You fight a bunch of other cool robots in this really unique setting, and it's kind of the precursor in a lot of ways to Lies of P. I think Lies of P overall is a much stronger game from Souls-like mechanics to just visual style and boss design, but Steel Rising definitely has its merits, and it's often overlooked. And I'm considering Steel Rising here because we couldn't talk about Lies of P because P isn't technically totally a robot. I mean, he kind of, long story. Anyway, Steel Rising ain't perfect, but we're talking about robot games, and this is a cool looking robot. Next up, the SteamWorld Heist games, SteamWorld Heist 1 and the more recent SteamWorld Heist 2 from 2024. The SteamWorld games always keep it fresh, and they always have cool steampunk robots, and SteamWorld Heist 2 is definitely got some of the coolest robots yet. It's an incredibly addictive game, turn-based tactics strategy, but in a way you wouldn't expect it, in a cool nautical style setting with a shocking amount of depth to it, making this game, like all their games, incredibly incredibly addicting. Captain Leeway, who you play as in SteamWorld Heist 2, is just a cool-ass robot design. He's got a little bit of a pirate edge to him and a cool hairstyle, but he's got that classic steampunk robot style you'd expect from one of these games. It looks quirky and goofy, but trust me, you can get a lot of good, solid gameplay out of this one. Next at number 9, Grow Home. You remember this one? If you didn't catch it, it was really cool. So in this, you play as a little lanky, awkward robot known as Bud, or B-U-D, and essentially you're going on a massive journey across an entire planet, kind of just climbing up a massive beanstalk and trying to get higher and higher. There's a lot more to it. There's platforming, there's gliding, there's growing vines and riding on them. But the gameplay here was incredibly unique because the way the game procedurally animates the character that you play as. You get to move his little hands independently, and then that kind of makes the climbing a little bit more engaging. Not to mention the growing aspects, as well as it's one of those good games where the exploration feels really tangible, where the more you climb and the further you get, you can look back and see how far you've truly come. It's a really unique one. It was a pretty big deal at the time. A lot of people liked it. Again, we haven't talked about it too much here on gameranx, but you should still check it out. Next at number 8, Detroit Become Human, a game filled with a bunch of cool robots. It takes place in the near future with androids that are human-like, and they can do anything humans can do, but they're smarter, they're faster, but ultimately, they're slaves to regular humans. So this game dares to ask the bold question that no movie about androids or replicants have ever asked before. Do robots, do machines deserve their own freedom? Is there some sort of soul or sentience in there? Well, Detroit Become Human asks that question and plays it out in a pretty crazy adventure. It's Quantic Dream, the people behind things like Indigo Prophecy, Heavy Rain, so with that comes some goofy aspects, but ultimately a really cool adventure featuring a lot of great robots, but most specifically, Connor was my personal favorite. This android is like a no-nonsense detective who gets partnered up with a messy human partner, an old gumshoe detective played by Clancy Brown. It's a really interesting dynamic, and it's a small, but one of my favorite aspects of a bigger and cooler game.
It's all over now. Daddy isn't angry anymore. Daddy loves you. You know Daddy loves you. This is your fault. This is all your fault. None of this would have happened if it weren't for you. This is all your fault!
Next at number 7, just a brief aside. Do you remember when Transformers games were a thing? Remember when they were good? Remember when we had Transformers, War for Cybertron, and even Transformers Devastation? Man, you just had to be there. These games were fun as hell. They had great campaigns, cool multiplayer, and the Transformers action was actually good. Switching from vehicle to big badass ass-kicking robot actually felt really good. And it felt like a better representation of the world of Transformers than the Michael Bay movies were doing at the time.
Optimus, look! Some sort of cache!
I hope these games get like re-releases or remasters at some point because people still care about Transformers, but we're not getting any new games, so we might as well get a fresh coat of paint on the old ones. Because I think a lot of people forgot about these. Next at number 6, RoboCop Rogue City. This is a first-person shooter where you play as RoboCop, who arguably is still a man in there. Alex Murphy, of course. Fallen Detroit police officer turned cool badass robot. Either way, this game does a perfect job of putting you in the shoes of RoboCop. You really feel like him. You have the visuals, the on-screen visor tech, you're slow, you're tank-like, but you're powerful and awesome. Not only does it do Robo well, but it also does the atmosphere and this fake 80s Detroit really well. If you love the original RoboCop movie, man, this game is a love letter to it. Now down at number 5, Machinarium. Remember this one? I think a lot of people forgot about this one, but this 2009 game was another one that dropped when indies were really starting to pop off, when indies were starting to get mainstream attention, and with Machinarium, it all comes down to the art style. I mean, look at this on screen here. This hand-drawn art style just looks like a labor of love, and it's absolutely incredible. You play as Joseph the robot here, and you're out to save your little robot girlfriend. It's nice and simple, but the world you're thrown into is full of charm. It's got a kind of dank, grimy, steampunk style atmosphere, and it's just an exploration game. It's a point and click adventure. You're solving puzzles, you're dealing with little robotic inhabitants, and the music, the presentation, the story put on here is just really, really good. It's just got an atmosphere that sticks with you. You can argue that it's kind of like a cozy, more chill vibe game because you're not killing anybody, but it's one you play, and then afterwards you come away with something. It's pretty memorable. Now down at number 4, speaking of memorable, here's one that nobody remembers, but I do. It's called Scrapland. This 2004 game was released on PC and then Xbox pretty soon after, and it's actually the beginning of Mercury Steam. Yes, the developers of Metroid Dread. This was one of their OG projects, and it was pretty ambitious at the time. A visual spectacle, a world filled with robots where humans are long gone. You run around as this guy. You can imitate or transform into different robots that have different abilities. You're doing a lot of on-foot stuff, running around, exploring, talking to people, engaging in these robot battles, but also there's vehicle sections where you're flying around in these futuristic vehicles, racing and blasting other enemies. It's got a lot of missions and it tries to do some interesting world building. You know, they tried to create a unique world where just robots inhabit it. Humans are long gone and they express this in cool music, art style, some interesting quirky humor. Sometimes it kind of goes into dark humor territory, but it actually got a remastered version in 2021 if you want to check it out. Keep in mind, it is a game from 2004, and it very much looks and feels like a game from 2004, but it's also a trip down memory lane. I remember being really excited for this one, and then I played it, and while it definitely had its flaws, I still remember it today, so that's saying something. Now down at number 3, I feel like we had to mention this, Mega Man. Of course, Mega Man, the classic Capcom video game character. He's been interpreted in every single way, shape, or form across a variety of genres. The cute little blue robot boy created by Dr. Light. From the OG games with their incredible challenge to defeating robots and using their abilities, to Mega Man X, which was a thing, to the Mega Man Battle Network games, which were incredibly addictive. To the future of Mega Man, with a new game that Capcom announced not too long ago called Mega Man Dual Override. We don't know how that's going to turn out, but we're happy to see the Blue Bomber keeping it going strong for this long. I don't know where we even go with this one because there's so much to talk about, but I just really felt obliged to include Mega Man, our OG favorite blue robot boy. He's in the halls of video game history for a reason, and we gotta give our props. So thank you for your service, Mega Man. Down at number 2, Nier Automata. This is a wild experience. In this 2017 game, you play as androids sent to this dystopian environment to take out these powerful evil machines that have essentially turned this world into a dystopia. But is it that simple? Well, of course not, or else we wouldn't be talking about it. Nier Automata is incredible. 2B, 9S, A2, the world itself, the music, the atmosphere, every inch of this game is memorable. From how it like kind of hops genres and camera perspectives during the game, to the incredible, insightful, thoughtful story it tries to tell, down to how they actually tell it, with you having to complete the game a few times to get the full story. It's a little more complicated than that, but for the sake of this video, look, if you want to play as some really cool robots, but in a game that is heartfelt, touching, weird, and it actually makes you think, you should absolutely play this. Look, you've listened to every other YouTuber probably tell you to play it at this point, so we're telling you again here now.
Control of upper arm. Seized from enemy unit. Marking weak point. Got it.
See this control system.
Affirmative. Infiltrating enemy subunit. Behavior table adjusted. Balance controls overridden. Enemy unit subjugation complete.
Now down at number 1, Armored Core 6. Look, I know you're technically piloting these rigs, but we just wanted to end on a banger with the newest Armored Core, which From Software absolutely knocked it out of the park with. Their signature art style is on display here, but it's the gameplay, the tight robot-on-robot, mech-on-mech action, and the customization of it that really makes this one of the all-timers. It was cool as hell, it was incredibly challenging because it is a From Software game, but also we hope it marks the return of the long-running franchise. It's been too long, and we're just hoping we don't have to wait a long-ass time for an Armored Core 7. But hey, those are 20 games where you get to play as cool robots. I know there are plenty more that we couldn't fit on this list. It's a pretty broad category, so let us know some of your favorite playable robots down in the comments. Do Android dream of electric sheep? Let us know anything you want about robots and stuff down in the comments. If you like this video, clicking a like button helps us out. We appreciate it. And if you're new, consider subscribing because we put out new videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.